Hello and welcome to Study with Sudhir. You are watching the CBSE Class 11 course here on SWS. Today we are going to discuss the Laburnum Top, which is part of the Hornbill textbook, and this will be part of the Class 11 CBSE English syllabus. Now, what kind of a poem the Laburnum Top really is? It's a story about life, and that's what makes this poem extremely fascinating. A very short poem, but within those few lines, the poet has been able to talk about the vastness of life, as it were, and also the symbiotic relationship between a tree and a bird. So let's get to the poem. Okay, I hope you can see the screen. Before we start, I wanted to, with the help of some visuals, some beautiful visuals, show you what a laburnum tree exactly looks like. Now, this picture that you see really shows you the celebratory visual of a laburnum tree. It has yellow flowers, and when it blooms, it really conveys the sense of a celebration. Let's look at a series of trees and look at it. Virtually looks like a forest, doesn't it? With many laburnum trees full of, it's almost like a yellow forest which has been planted out here. This is the goldfinch bird, which is the other character, so to say, in this bird, if we are to take the laburnum as the first character. So the yellow, and that's what is very fascinating about how Ted Hughes has used the laburnum tree and the goldfinch bird together, because the goldfinch bird's predominant color is yellow, and so is the case with the laburnum tree. So the tree is able to hide the bird, or shall we say the bird is able to camouflage itself within the tree branches. So this is what, so we are going to really talk about a rain of yellow in this particular poem. The poet Ted Hughes has used the laburnum tree and the goldfinches as a symbol of life and life's fluctuations, right? And he does that by describing the visit of the bird to the laburnum tree, because that's where the young chicks of the bird are there inside a nest. And the beauty is that when the goldfinch bird arrives, there is life in the laburnum tree. But once the mother bird leaves in quest of food, more food for the young ones, the laburnum tree once again falls silent, right? So without the bird, the tree is just like any other tree. And that's what probably even life is. Life is usually dull, but the entry of someone or the other makes us kind of feel happy, makes us feel extremely excited about life. So the entry of the outsider, and who is the outsider here? Outsider यहाँ पर है goldfinch bird, जिसकी वजह से laburnum tree में एक तरह से जान आ जाती है. Okay, I hope it's understood so far. Let's just go through a few of the basic understanding. What kind of a tree is laburnum? It's a short tree with hanging branches, yellow flowers, and poisonous seeds. Okay, the seeds that you see are actually poisonous. It is called amaltas in Hindi, and the month in which the poem is set is September. Okay, so I've written the entire summary of the poem in the notes, so you can have a look at it. It's basically talking about the autumn season in September, when the leaves and the flowers, everything is turning yellow, and the laburnum tree is very quiet, quite quiet. And that's when the goldfinch bird arrives and breathes life into the tree. Okay, and when it leaves, the tree is once again silent. So let's now go through it stanza by stanza. Abhi tak ka samajh mein aa gaya? Okay, this is the poem. The laburnum top is silent, quite still. In the afternoon, yellow September sunlight, a few leaves yellowing, all its seeds fallen. Now, what do you understand? There's a lot of detail in the first stanza. It's about the laburnum tree, right? Yes. The fact that it is silent, that's an important keyword, right? It's talking about the month of September. And it's also talking about the sunlight in the month of September. It's autumn season, so the sunlight will not be extremely harsh. At the same time, the leaves are yellowing and the seeds have all fallen to the ground, indicating the autumn season. Now, please note how he has used the word yellow twice. Yellow September and yellowing leaves. Okay, so yellow as a color is important, but it's also important to know what does the color yellow really denote. Now, yellow denotes sunshine. It symbolizes sunshine. It symbolizes energy and happiness in some countries. In some countries, it is also symbolic of silence and death, and in some cases, even deceit. That is, किसी को धोखा देना. So yellow as a color symbolizes both. Why do you think Ted Hughes has used a laburnum tree in this particular poem? He could have chosen any other tree. He could have chosen a banyan tree, could have chosen a neem tree, a mango tree, right? But he wanted to show the dominance of the yellow color in the poem, because yellow, as I said, is symbolic of happiness, joy. It's also symbolic of silence at the same time. Yellow as a color has huge visibility, just like the red color or maybe the blue color. It has huge visibility, and therefore it would be easy for the goldfinch bird to locate the tree in which her young ones are there inside a nest. Or perched on a particular branch, right? Also, the goldfinch is partly yellow in color, so there is some kind of a synergy between the bird and the tree. दोनों के बीच में एक तरह का संबंध Ted Hughes ने इसमें डाला है. So that's as far as the first stanza is concerned, in which factual details have been given. Second stanza, till the goldfinch comes with a twitching chirrup. Okay, what does chirrup is referring to the repetitive high-pitched sounds made by a bird. Twitching is referring to a sudden jerky movement. You know, अचानक से एक तरह से jerky kind of movement. Is suddenness, is startlement. You know, startle मतलब जब कोई एक तरह से चौंक जाए, right? At a branch end, because the bird has come and sat on the end of a branch, so there is a bit of a sudden jerky movement, right? Then sleek as a lizard. आपने देखा छिपकली कैसे मूव करती है? धीरे धीरे मूव करती है. There is a particular movement with the, you know, there is a certain swiftness with the movement of a lizard. It's alert and it's also abrupt at the same time. She enters the thickness. Thickness कहाँ? Because of पूरा branches का thickness हुआ पड़ा है, right? And a machine starts up of chitterings and a tremor of wings and trillings. The whole tree trembles and thrills. Trillings is producing the chirruping sound, and tremor is the involuntary vibration of the wings of the mother bird, also those of the little ones of the bird. So till the goldfinch comes, जो पहले लाइन में जो लिखा है, till the goldfinch comes, indicates the sudden change which happens when the bird arrives at the laburnum tree, and this is ending the death-like silence जो उसके पहले है. उससे पहले बिल्कुल शांति है, बिल्कुल क्वाइट है, लेकिन उसके आते ही देयर इज सडन लाइफ ऑन द लैबर्नम ट्री. समझे? तो एक छिपकली की तरह अंदर घुसती है, जो कि काफी अलर्ट है कि नो और कोई तो नहीं है, तो एक तरह से सावधान बरतती है. इट्स एक्सट्रीमली अलर्ट एंड केयरफुल, एंड ऑल्सो इट हैज अ स्टेल्दी काइंड ऑफ अ movement. And as the mother bird moves towards the thick part of the laburnum tree, her chicks realize कि मम्मी आई है, and they start chirruping, okay, and they start moving their little wings. And it seems because of all this activity that is taking place inside the thickness of the laburnum tree, it looks as though ग्रर करके मशीन स्टार्ट हुई है, जैसे जनरेटर का साउंड की तरह, ओके, और उसकी वजह से पूरा पेड़ एक तरह से हिल जाता है. ओके, सो आपको कॉन्ट्रास्ट समझ में आया कि पहले डेथ लाइक साइलेंस और इसके बाद एक तरह से पूरा एक हंगामा, एक शोर शराबा पेड़ के अंदर. ओके, एंड दिस कॉन्ट्रास्ट इज व्हाट मेक्स द पोएम extremely interesting. So the whole tree trembles and thrills. You know, there is a sense of thrill associated with the tree at this point in time. Now you see the photograph that I have put. It is the goldfinch bird against the backdrop of the laburnum tree. So see किस तरह से, एक तरह से अगर वो काला रंग नहीं होता तो पता ही नहीं चलता कि वहां पे चिड़िया है भी या नहीं, है ना? तो एक तरह से it's completely getting lost inside the laburnum tree. There is a synergy between the colors of the bird and the laburnum tree. It is the engine of her family. She stokes it full, then flirts out to a branch end, showing her barred face, identity mask. This line is important और मैं इसको अच्छी तरह से समझाऊंगा. Flirts out का मतलब है it is to convey movement out here. You know, it moves to a branch end. Stokes मतलब एक तरह से, जिस तरह से इंजन का इस्तेमाल किया गया है, तो इंजन में जैसे आप पेट्रोल की टंकी में पेट्रोल भरते हैं ना, फ्यूल भरते हैं ना, उसी तरह का सेंस में इसका यूज किया गया है। बार्ड का मतलब है स्ट्राइप्स, you know, the way the black color is, it is kind of conveying as though it is like a stripe on the face, otherwise पूरा कलर येलो होता, लेकिन ब्लैक एक तरह से स्ट्राइप है उसकी शक्ल पे, इसीलिए मैंने यहां पर फोटो डाली है ताकि आपको समझने में आसानी हो। ओके, सो द गोल्डफिंच बर्ड इज द इंजन ऑफ हर फैमिली, शी प्रोवाइड्स फूड टू द यंग वंस and then she moves to the other end of the branch. That's when her face is visible because she has moved away from the thickness of the tree. So her yellow camouflaged body is now visible, right? What does barred face identity mask mean? The striped face of the goldfinch is the mask. जो ये काला रंग है ना, it's almost like a mask. जैसे अभी कोविड के टाइम पे मास्क पहनते थे ना, ये बर्ड का मास्क है। She remains hidden in the thickness and a striped face makes her recognizable, and this face becomes her identity mask. The striped becomes her identity mask. Okay, समझ में आ गया? Then with eerie, delicate whistle chirrup whispering, she launches away towards the infinite and the laburnum subsides to empty. You can get a sense of क्या हुआ है जब वो मदर बर्ड फिर से उड़कर बाहर आसमान में चली गई है। So the bird makes a gentle chirruping sound, almost sounds like a whisper, whisperings, right? धीरे धीरे से बोलना, and flies away. Flies away मतलब एक तरह से उड़ जाती है, launches away towards the infinite. Infinite मतलब खुला आसमान. Infinite is referring to the open sky, and the laburnum tree is once again silent and death-like. The word empty refers to the lack of sound. Okay, so that's what is the thing out here. So this is as far as the poem is concerned. थोड़े poetic devices के ऊपर हम नजर डाल देते हैं। पहले इसमें देखें तो सितंबर सनलाइट, ये एलिट्रेशन है, दो बारी एस का इस्तेमाल किया गया है in quick succession. सितंबर सनलाइट, ट्री ट्रेम्बल्स, ओके, कहां है ट्री ट्रेम्बल, हाँ, ट्री ट्रेम्बल्स एंड थ्रिल, सो टी टी टी, ओके। इससे पहले एक और है अलर्ट एंड एब्रप्ट, ओके, अलर्ट, स्लीक एज अ लिजर्ड एंड अलर्ट एंड एब्रप्ट, ए का इस्तेमाल किया गया है। स्लीक एज अ लिजर्ड इज द यूज ऑफ अ सिमिली। जब भी आपको एस या लाइक आपको कहीं पर भी मिले, इसका मतलब है कि वो एक सिमिली है। मेटाफर का मतलब होता है जब एक क्वालिटी को कंपेयर किया जाता है। शी एंटर्स द थिकनेस, okay, and a machine starts up, so the noise of the bird movement has been compared to that of a machine. ये मेटाफर का इस्तेमाल किया गया है। engine of our family is again is the use of a metaphor. personification, the whole tree trembles and thrills, इसका मतलब जिस तरह से हम ट्रेम्बल करते हैं, थ्रिल करते हैं, तो आई मीन ह्यूमन बींग्स के लिए यूज किया जाता है, यहां पर एक पेड़ के लिए यूज किया गया है। ओके, एंड हर बार्ड फेस identity mask is called a transferred epithet. Okay, is a when the word bard is actually an adjective for the flowers of the laburnum tree, but it has been here transferred to the bird, so इस poetic device को transferred epithet कहते हैं। So the phrase refers to the bird whose identity is masked because of the black stripe which is on its face, but otherwise it is kind of hidden by the color, yellow color of the flowers, and the young ones are able to recognize her only when she comes near the place where the young ones are there, and only then they start chirping. Okay, so how is the laburnum tree a poem about the cycle of life and death? तो इसमें आप पहले स्टैंजा, फिर दूसरे स्टैंजा और वापस तीसरे स्टैंजा की बात करेंगे ताकि एक तरह से पूरा कॉन्ट्रास्ट समझ में आ जाए। इसका क्वेश्चन आंसर मैंने लिखा है, काफी सारे क्वेश्चन आंसर लिखे हैं। ब्रिंग आउट द आयरॉनिक एलिमेंट इन द पोएम, उसके बारे में लिखिए कि you know, it's very strange that normally होता यह है कि बर्ड को पेड़ की जरूरत होती है बिकॉज पेड़ पे उसके यंग वंस हैं, लेकिन यहां पर the life is being provided by the bird because it is the one which is kind of bringing the laburnum tree to life. दूसरी एक और बात, laburnum tree के जो seeds हैं poisonous होते हैं, लेकिन यहां पर it is providing shelter to the young one. So in that sense it's a slightly ironic kind of a situation. To what is the bird's movement compared? What is the basis of this comparison? Why is the image of the engine evoked by the poet? And what does the phrase bard face identity mask mean? And how does the poet डिस्क्राइब द ब्यूटी ऑफ द गोल्डफिंच। सो ये सारे जो क्वेश्चंस हैं उसके आंसर भी लिखे हैं, आप प्लीज नोट्स को देखिए। आई होप यू हैव अंडरस्टूड द स्टोरी। द पोएम इज प्रीटी सिंपल, इसका बेसिक मैसेज है, लेकिन जितने भी अगर मैसेज आप समझ लेंगे तो इसको एनालाइज करके आंसर्स लिखने में आपको कोई दिक्कत नहीं होनी चाहिए। थैंक यू वेरी मच फॉर वॉचिंग।